All right, the serious side of it is you get to this week and it's all that you've invested in and it's right there before us. What is the sense of consequence that sits over the week?
Well, we were talking about it before, weren't we, Simmo, upstairs, as far as the difference being a club outside of Melbourne and all that goes with that and having to, say in Brisbane's case, turn the ship around again after sort of last week being down here, then going back up and then coming back down again. And there is a difference to it, isn't there, Simmo? The sort of the things you have to organise, the things that go through your mind, the fact that you're out of your own bed for quite a while. There's a few things you've got to consider.
It's hard to compare it to when you were playing in the 90s as to what's happening now. But, yeah, the interstate travel is another level of organisation that you have to do last week during the prelim, and you start talking about potential tickets and accommodation for your family last week. So it's probably more getting it done this week, but it's definitely different when you're interstate.
Any advantage for them to go back to Brisbane and it's not as fanatical as Western Australia would be, but maybe from a Sydney point of view, heading back there and just getting out of the bubble for a few days?
I suppose, but it's probably just more routine. We go home, we get sorted, we see our families, otherwise we're not going to see them for the week. And they've done it with success last year. So whatever we did last year, we're doing again this year. Yeah. So I noticed Dunkley's coming in tomorrow night, and that's what he did last year. So, so you do learn from your mistakes as well. They would have learned a lot from 23 as well.
And I imagine there's a lot to jam into the week. So as well as everything else, you've still got to get all the work done to be ready for the biggest game of the year. How did you find that through the attempts?
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, we used to, if we played on a Saturday and we won the prelim on the Saturday, for instance, there'd be a meeting straight away on the Sunday and get all the information out to the families, which was a really good morning, and you'd have a sort of a gathering, or we had a gathering of everybody, and you get all the logistics organised and out of the way, and then as a coaching group and playing group, you've got a job to do and you need to get to work. And no days off that week for the coaches. You sort of, the travel takes up a bit of time, so you need to get to work and understand that, 6 days' time it's on, and you need to, in this case, maybe change a few things depending upon which side of the ledger you're on.
Well, Geelong would have an advantage too. Like, they get their little break by just getting back down there, So they've probably got the perfect remedy from getting away from the action in the city and getting down there and coming back up fresh.
The joy of winning them? What's it like when you win it as a coach?
It's probably a little bit more relief as a coach. I would have thought you might be a different horse, but I did feel more of a proud father type of
Did you like it better as a coach or a player?
Coaching felt a bit better, yeah.
Why?
I was a bit younger. You're a bit, it's more about you than anything.
When you're playing?
When you're coaching, it's different.
I noticed that. A bit more about you.
Well, what about you?
Yeah, I get asked about it a bit. I think it's great as a player, but you're in your own world as a player. As a coach, you're much more aware of the broad ecosystem that you've got involved in, and you're much more aware of that.
Is there any anticlimax at all? I mean, you've been working for this the whole year. You get there, the moment's great, you're out here, and then there's any stage where you just need a quiet moment to get and just let it sink in?
Well, I mean, there I was, I was up on stage with Bobby Skilton, and you sort of walk off and you have a deep breath.
Lost in the confetti.
Yeah, well, that's just me. I was a backroom guy. So, I was just trying to get off and get the players a bit of time. But I think the first feeling is relief, but then it was. I think many people talk about if you could bottle that moment and just have a drink of it every now and then, that'd be ideal.
I turned into a bit of a social introvert, really, after the game and the celebrations and the function. I was back in my room with my wife watching the replay over a glass of red. So,
what time?
Oh, pretty early.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as you're so fatigued, and it was pretty emotional game, as you can expect. And the function after it, and you want to get away from the noise a little bit. So not sure what you did after your premiership, mate.
Yeah, I was a bit like you, Simmo. The moment is so big, you need to, at some point, just take a bit of downtime.
Did you get him in, I've seen, just in that room for 10 minutes? Did you do that? Just you, the players, the cup in the middle, staff,
and a couple
of beers? Yeah. That would be the greatest.
It's hard. The players is hard because they're going off.
Yeah,
but the staff and your immediate coaching staff, just for 10 minutes, you sit there and you just have to do that.
I made a bit of a point of, in a couple of days' time, boys, I think the only thing I want you to do is make sure we get together as a group on Wednesday. And a couple of days later, sit down and savour it as a group.
Yeah. All right, and then the other side of the coin.
Yeah, well, that's terrible. Don't tell me that losing a prelim's worse than losing a grand final, because it's not.
Right.
And to lose the way we lost in 15, it just went like that. It went so quick, and we were on tilt, and we couldn't get out of it. So we.
What was the margin this?
It was 10 goals, but at no real stage did it look like we fired a shot.
Right.
And but
Is
we
that
don't
the most
win.
frustrating bit when you don't?
Yeah, we'll probably touch on it now. We beat Hawthorn in the first final, and we had a good day in the box, and all our players played their roles, and we just got outmanoeuvred in the grand final. We were young; they were going in their fourth grand final in a row. So that's what Chris is going through this week. What do we do? Everything worked so well in that first final. Are we doing the same thing? And then conversely, Brisbane are thinking, OK, let's do this time. So there's this battle going when you play the same team in 3 weeks, and we didn't handle that the first time. The second time we played Collingwood, we played them in the first final as well, and we did some different things.
The losing side of things, John, for you, how did you find it?
Oh, it goes from your best week to your worst week pretty quickly, and you've still got commitments you need to fulfil, and when you're standing in the middle of the MCG afterwards, and that's not a great feeling. And then you've got to try and get the balance right between supporting your staff and supporting your players, but also supporting yourself. And those moments you've got to be pretty succinct in how you address the playing group. You're not quite sure. Everyone gathers after those moments. I'm not sure what everyone expects you're going to say, but you don't say much. And then within 10 minutes you're live in a press conference, and so you've got to gather your thoughts, and sometimes the press conference itself can be pretty chaotic. And you go straight from there on a bus straight to the function, 1,200 people talking to your supporters, and then you go home nice and early and you sit there and you stare at the ceiling for a long time.
You do wake up the next day, and there's that 5 seconds where you don't know what happened yesterday, and then you realise what happened yesterday. That's a bad morning too. So
That's a graphic. That's as graphic as you can hear it. And that is why winning them is so, I imagine, celebrated, because the opposite end is not even worth considering.
Even if you don't play finals, you end up in a cave for a few days. So when you lose a premiership, and you don't not turn up, but you just get outplayed on the day, and you just reflect on what did I do wrong, how did I prepare the players, and then we start thinking about travel. And too many families, not enough families. Did we train the right times?
You've very much turned the mirror on yourself, and you're very hard on yourself on the days after. You sort of look at yourself pretty hard, and it can be a very lonely experience.
Do you have someone that you can confide in, or is it a mentor that you've had through the...
Yeah, you do, but you tend to sort of work through it yourself a little bit. And in my case, there was one stage on the Sunday night, my wife said to me, OK, that's enough sooking.
Right.
You've got to get up the next day and lead these boys back. And sometimes that's the best advice as well.
Awesome.